Diversity, equity, and inclusion space and people in that career has taken a hit.
Hmm.
So Ashley and I want to talk about that, and we want to get into how to help folks that are in or have been in that space, how we can help them pivot. So we're going to call this the DEI Pivot, translating your skills to generate income. Now, Ashley, you know how I am. I like to
Yeah.
be able to help people create income in 30 days or less. So, some of the things that we normally would tell people over
Hmm.
here at AshRand Career Solutions is, well, this is how we're going to do your resume and get you another job. People are
No.
hurting.
Hmm.
People's whole careers have been impacted. Why? Doesn't matter. The fact that, this is a political battlefield doesn't matter. The fact is, here's what's happening.
Yep.
So, Ash, what I would like to do is if we can lean on our collective experience in helping people pivot out of or towards something that this DEI experience has given them. Are you with me on that one? What are
No.
some of your thoughts with regard to that?
Yep. And so this is kind of like my first thought. When it comes down to, first off, we want to make sure we're showing support for those who are going through this right now because that is hard. And we know that that plays a huge factor into your mental health space, to kind of throw off that stabilization that you had with that role. So we're here for that support. But first off, what we want to think about when we are pivoting, right, is the skill set, right? What are those skills that you utilize in your roles, not job titles, because skill is what is going to pay the bills, right? So how you apply those skills and to turn it into something new will be a start. So let's think about one thing when it comes to your skills. What is something that people rely on you for the most, right? And you can turn that into something completely new. It doesn't mean you have to utilize those certain skills into another job title. You could take that skill set and do something completely different. Um, Rather it's like leadership, execution, communication, things of that nature. And there's so many different individuals now that are stepping into a whole nother space that could be entrepreneurship that comes with
Mhm.
consulting and coaching. It really just depends on what skills that you have utilized before. So when you want to think about what those skills look like, ask yourself that one question: what is those skills that people consistently rely on me for? So
Yeah,
that's a start.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I have made in my years on this earth multiple pivots.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me? So I'll give you an example so that we can bring this home and that it makes sense. I mean, I remember when I was my first job, I
Mm-hmm.
was driving pizza car. No, first job. Pivot number one. First
Yep.
job was, I was a dishwasher, right? No, better. Equipment.
Okay.
That's what we called it back then.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I clean equipment? Yeah, you wash some dishes, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I remember when I says, hey, there's construction company needs help. So I applied, got hired at a much higher rate. The money was, but I didn't realize that construction was up and down. That was a
Yeah.
first pivot. Now I'm gonna give into some more recent pivots when they kind of make sense. So I worked in manufacturing
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of years. And, I did everything from driving the forklift to, managing a section within the plant itself. So when I start thinking about those pivots, here's why just, keeping yourself abreast of what's happening, what's needed, and what you need to do is important. Because I started thinking, hey, wait a minute, this job is offering money to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
So that began pivot number one. So I says, well, I'm gonna take them up on that. Now, you may look at what you have done in school, and this is where I'm getting to.
Yep.
Although you may have been doing DEI diversity, equity, and inclusion work, I bet your degree don't say that. That's point number one. I bet your degree doesn't say a degree in diversity, equity, it says something else. My degrees are in business, and my master's degree is in operational management. OD practitioners, right? Organization, blah, 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 development, blah, 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 stuff, right? So let's dig into that a little bit. I kid you not, Ashley, one of the things that I like to tell people to do is I want you to remember, even if they got their old transcripts, I want you to go back and this is people, bro, I can't find that thing. Well, just go back, start looking at some of the papers you used to write. I bet you got some of those.
That's not a bad idea, Randy. Not just
the reason
papers. Take a look at some of the courses you excelled in.
Yeah.
And kind of what that coursework and how that can relate to a whole nother skill set. People neglect to do those things, maybe because they feel like they can apply them into real world actions today, but you actually can. So
that's what we're going to help them do. That's why we're here. We're here. That's why we did. And when we started collaborating together and we started calling, the thing that we did, AshRand Career Solutions and Career Solutions, but we also said on the bottom, career, business, life, because there are different stages. And at different stages, you are going to be switching maybe to business. Maybe your life as it stands causes you to switch from career to business so that you have some flexibility. So we want to jump in and get a little bit of that in as well. It may be that you've been doing business and guess what? You got to go back and get a job. How do you translate those skills of having run your own thing to now going into a company? Let's talk about that a little bit. You've been leading yourself. You've been earning your own money. You've been doing, engagement, speaking, whatever it is. You now have developed some skills. Psychological, you can read a room. What does that mean? In a boardroom, could you help people read the room? Because you learned it as a speaker or as a person that's up front or as a person that, did podcasts or whatever it is. You see, so you start looking at these minute things that you hadn't even thought about as a skill and then ask the question, I wonder if I can go into someone's organization and be the fractional whatever. Hey, I'm just going to come in. It's kind of back for business, they used to call it the entrepreneur in residence. So now imagine you're bringing a whole different skill set to somebody's job. What will you do here? Well, I'm going to be the person that goes from department to department, and I'm going to help them in a very specific way. That's where we pull in some of this information, some of the stuff that we used to do, some of what Ash just said, some of the skills that may have gotten rusty and dusty because you were doing something else. Now, although they called it diversity, equity, and inclusion, you know that you were probably doing all kinds of stuff, mainly managing. So let's jump into that, Ash. How could the person that was in the DEI space now look at their management skills and go from there?
And so with the management, even with operations, because I'm sure if you were in charge of any DEI initiatives, you had to operate programs on your own, right? That program development, that operational management comes with a lot of layers, right? Even when it comes down to crisis management, budget management, it all comes under that same umbrella. And right now, there's a lot of employers that are looking for, I even read it in a job description once where they say, someone with the entrepreneurial spirit. Because if they have certain programs that they need to develop, or sometimes they don't have great standard policies and procedures and they need that operational expertise there. As an entrepreneur, if you wanted to go into any of those roles, that's something you can bring. Or those, again, that were ahead of those DEI initiatives, you come with that operational leadership and that management that you can apply for some of those roles. So that is one of the few transferable skills that are like gold, right? Like it's that gold ticket out the Willy Wonka factory, right? That people want and employers want to kind of take in. That's something that they are looking for. So that is something that you can bring, not even coming from the DEI initiatives, but also as an entrepreneur, you have that skill set to manage operations and to build those systems that you had to build for yourself when you were doing program
Oh, that's
development
so good.
or when you were running your or you were running your business, right?
That's so
You
good.
can apply those same skills in that same manner.
Yeah, and again, I want to share a couple of other things. I'm gonna share what this ain't, right? This workshop, this time. This ain't no pep talk. But this is no, hey, it's time to reskill. No. Hey, go back to school. None of that. What we wanted to do was say and acknowledge, and this is the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is that, this is devastating. This is devastating. People whole careers wiped out. A good friend of mine, to bring it personal, her whole division, and she worked at a very prestigious school. Whole division wiped out. We're talking millions of dollars wiped off the table because the whole initiative was said bye-bye to.
And you know what's so interesting about that, Randy, is that although they may not be, because they are getting rid of the initiatives, but then they're also dressing it up with a different name too.
Well, I want my friends to get in there with that dress up.
And that's all.
I'm just saying. Because, I mean, said by another name, it's still the thing, right? Now, with that in mind, understanding that, okay, if there's an environment that says we don't want it in any shape or form, then it could get rooted out, right? Even though it's said a different way. So what I want you to start thinking about is how can I, maybe you say, you know what, I don't want to be in a position where, because of whatever reason, political or otherwise, that my whole position can be wiped out. Maybe you want to build a little bit of a mold around yourself. So that's why when AshRand and Ashton and I talk about this, we don't just say career. We say career, business, life. Because we understand that it's all encompassing. So this is not that pep talk, back to school, lecture on upskilling, toxic positivity, none of that. This is real talk. We want to give you a framework. Now we're going to share the ability to work with us in a very specific way to do this stuff, how that might look, because you may go, I don't know where to start. And well, we're going to be the person that takes you across the finish line on that. So, and then we'll leave maybe a tool for you to use in the meantime. Depends on when you're seeing this and how you want to contact us. Sometimes I leave it in the description field, and sometimes I say the only way you can get in touch with us is that you have to DM one of us. Period. And that's just because we have to protect our time. Because we got other stuff going on. I've got multiple, collaborations and other business interests, et cetera, et cetera. And then Ash can't meet on Sundays. So just so, but I mean, y'all seeing what we're getting at. And again, we don't want to make light of what's happened in your life, because we've experienced it. We've experienced job off. We've experienced, not having some income coming in when you needed that money.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to iterate and talk to you about real paths to income. That's why I like to say, how can we help people? And I challenge Ashley. I says, Ashley, how can we help people get back on their feet, get cash in their pockets in 30 days? Now, y'all know I don't like to make income promises. If you've seen some of my other stuff, I always will say, this is for educational purposes.
Only.
Financial advice, blah, blah, blah. And then I go into, this ain't typical implied guilty, whatever. So if you've seen some of my stuff, I do that. But this is real. I got friends out there right now hurting. Serious. Scraping to get by. So it's personal for me. So 30 days, this is what we're going to be talking about. Now, we'll probably leave some information for you. Here's how that might look. It might have a little price tag on it because, well, This is years of experience and that we're putting into this. But hopefully with what we talk about right now, you can get a couple things where you can go, you know what, I needed that inspiration, if nothing else. Okay, even though this is not a rah-rah session. Okay. Now, Ash, one of the other things is, I think if we start thinking about how people that have been in that space, or if you've been in that space, how you got to reframe quickly. And I mean quickly. You cannot see yourself as the DEI person anymore. Some people have, well, they've got that locked. Oh, that's a DEI guy, or that's a DEI lady. You've got to get rid of that and say to yourself, no, here's what I do. I manage systems. I manage people. I help leaders. I do this, that, and the third. That's why we want you to go back to some of the things that is right on your transcript, is right on your degree. I do this. I just happen to have been doing that. If you can get in that reframe, then at least you got a chance to see yourself differently. And if you can see yourself differently, the hope is that you can do differently.
And then also, I'll take it just a step further too. If you can't necessarily, because I'm finding your transcripts, I know sometimes that can be difficult to kind of peel back, but still try to find something, right? You can't find them. But if you can't find those, also digging into your previous performance reviews. Sometimes, if you still have those, sometimes the skill set is there. Now, I'll take that with a grain of salt, because sometimes everything wasn't there on that performance review that you did really well, but at least that's a start, right? That you can build upon, just to kind of tap into some of those skill set that you may not be abreast of, that you can actually communicate and articulate on another platform, as far as like a resume or even creating something, right? So just think about where you can start with that from, if you don't know exactly what it is just yet. You can do a little research on yourself to figure it out.
Here's a big show of hands. If you're watching this on YouTube, well, you put your hand up. But if you're seeing this on a webinar, then just with a show of hands, who out there is thinking that your skills are no longer marketable? All right, now, obviously, if you're watching this on a replay, whatever, right? So, but if you're thinking that to yourself, my skills aren't marketable. Now, I've got this belief that, I'm going to show you how. I used to do that all the time, Ash, when I was the director of workforce development at an organization. Is I would show people, and it was amazing when they would go, oh man, I didn't realize that.
I didn't think of that.
Guy says, I just paint fences. I look at somebody, I just paint fences. I says, oh really? So do you have to go get all of the material?
Yep.
Oh. Did you have to know what brush would work on what kind of fence?
You had to manage a budget to get the things you needed.
You had to make sure you didn't spend too much time there and you got paid right. So you start looking at that, then there's management skills.
Absolutely.
There's accounting skills. There is determining, you got decisiveness. You got to say, well, I can get a cheap brush or I can get a better brush that is one stroke, all these types of things. And what I would do is I would literally help people see that their skills are marketable. We just have to put it right. Now, some of the GPTs can do that, but they're not going to do it like Ash and I, because we've been in the field.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to do some of the things that we can do. And even if your chat GPT or whatever you're using says, hey, just do this. Well, the job is to now help you implement that.
Exactly.
Is that it with everybody? If you're there, then okay, feel confident that we can help you with that too. So now, one of the other things, and I got a couple of notes here, y'all. And it's just saying you don't have DEI skills. You got what? One of the things it says is you got facilitation expertise. You've got organizational development, what my degree is in. You've got, guess what? Conflict resolution. Change management skills.
Huge.
Training design skills. Executive communication. Ashley, you can take any one of them. And let's talk about how they don't have DEI skills, They have these skills. How can we bring them out? How can we help them bring them out and do something with it?
And so I kind of want to lean into leadership development because that's huge. That can go in so many different ways, right? That leadership management, right? Or even just stakeholders, right? Like managing those relationships with stakeholders. But I'll lean back in leadership because it kind of gets into that a little bit. But that leadership development there, or that leadership management, you can transfer that into so many different things. And I want to lean into that to talk about how you can apply that in different areas. So say, for instance, you decide that, okay, I just got let go from this role being a DEI. I'm thinking about, let's say, human resources. I'm just throwing something out there. Having that leadership development and that management would apply beautifully to human resources, especially if you're stepping into a leadership role into human resources, right? If you have to manage individuals to be able to communicate with employees or bring in recruiting more individuals, you have to be able to make sure that things are flowing, they are operational, and that comes with that leadership development. So I just threw human resources out there and I'm just kind of babbling too a little bit, but y'all know where I'm getting at, right? We got to be able to use some of those, I wouldn't call them basics, but those natural skills that you have to transfer into a whole new role. And so that's how leadership development can transfer into that, as well as any other leadership, if it's not just human resources, right? But I just kind of picked that out of the air because it was top of mind at that moment. That's what my mental Rolodex spit out at that moment. But
No,
I
that's
think
fine.
that was a good way that you can transfer. So that's what you have to think, right? When you are thinking of pivoting, you have to think about that skill set that you already have. Because again, Randy just said it. We're not here for that pep talk to tell you to go back to school to try to
Right.
upskill, reskill.
Right. None
We're
of
not
that.
here for that. Let's look at exactly what you have and let's package it and articulate it in a different way. Outside of just, obviously updating your resume, your LinkedIn profile, if you're thinking about jumping into another role with another organization, or even if you're thinking about doing something different, how do you rebrand yourself?
Oh,
And
that's so
again,
good.
it's about those few skill set that is natural to you to be able to articulate.
And in the United States, we got this big thing about titles. So if you start looking at, hey, this is my job title, it was just a container,
Yep.
right? It was a container, not the contents. Let's see it like that, right? Chief Diversity Officer, said another way, is something else. You handle cultural strategy, you handled organizational development, you handled the coaching, like we said before, program management, stuff like that. So one of the things to start thinking about, here's a positive. The market didn't, and I'm literally looking at the market didn't reject you. It renamed you. Wait, what? Yeah. So the thing is, we ask ourselves, what's still being hired for? Now, let's give people some, from what we know that's out there in the marketplace, still being hired for. Let me be honest with you. Given the fact that there are tons and tons of organizations trying to implement AI, well, AI is a entity that they gotta bring into their culture. So let's see if I got this right. Culture with the machine now. Yeah, because the machine is going to cause people in your company to be fearful. And as a result, and a fearful employee, a scared employee is not an effective employee. So what could your job be? I'll wait for it. What could your job be? Culture and engagement specialist in companies implementing AI. Oh. So now you're going after that. You're saying, hey, if you've implemented AI, it's like implementing another person. And there could be some disengagement. I'm here to help you. Y'all get it? It's not DEI. It is, I'm here to help you engage with AI. Use your skill sets. And then as an organizational development consultant, because there are going to be layoffs, you've seen it yourself because you're on the other end of it. And because of AI is going to cause more layoffs, that organization is going to need a different kind of development. How do I go forward when I got 5 people left and a machine? I don't know. Tell them. Teach them. Show them. What have you done before? That becomes right. What about the talent experience manager? Remember, you've been renamed. So rename yourself. Oh no, I'm a talent experience manager. Wait, what? Now this new talent, this machine over here, well, it never goes to sleep. It don't complain about raises. How do you get that to work with people that do? I'm here to help. You see where we're going with this?
Yep.
Learning development directors. Well, guess what? You disappear for a weekend like the commercials say, and you learn AI like a boss.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 10 toes down it, so I can teach you. So that's one of the reasons why when you want to work with us, we got some very specific skill sets to be able to help you with this and do it fast. That's one of the key things. So Ash, you know, what about the new playbook? What should they be doing like today? Right now.
Right now, what you need to do right now is, again, take a look at what you were doing in those roles, right? Bring those skills forth. Let's update that resume. Let's change some of that, right? Some of those things on that resume. Make sure that it's articulating that skill set. And then being able to kind of identify some of the roles that you were already doing, just in different names, just like Randy was saying. People and cultural operations management, because again, they just renamed it, right? Some just renamed, so we want to keep an eye out for some of those names. But again, starting off with identifying that skill set, making sure that you're articulating it through your documents to be able to find a new role, or start to think about, if you don't want to get into a new role, using that skill set to pivot into another space that you create.
Good. And that's, you know, we've got some notes for you, some things that we can drop on you, and then an offer for you to, you know, work with us to kind of translate some of these things. But one of the things that for right now, like, look at this DEI skill, and I'm not showing this on screen because this is what you would actually get when you say, well, you know what, send it to me, right? We're going to put a little bit of a price tag on it. So we talk about bias training facilitation, because that's probably what you did. Translates to leadership development. What industries are hiring? Tech, healthcare, finance. Healthcare, tech, and finance still need leadership. And they need leadership developers. Bam, that's you. All right, now, ERG, program management, translates to community engagement. I have seen that job. You are a community engagement manager for XYZ company. What does that mean? You go out into the community. I just saw a good friend of mine get hired for that for a college. This is what you do. Can you help us? Yeah, I got you. And he gets a paid check. Who's hiring? Nonprofits, schools, and associations. Demographic data analysis. I don't know who did that in the DEI space, but whatever. If a whole department is getting wiped out, it's probably somebody in there. Now you do people analytics. That's psychographic stuff. Companies that need to know where people are doing, where they're at, that's people analytics. That's what your new job is. That's what your new translation is. Y'all getting it?
Yeah.
Now we got a lot more we're going to be, you know, sharing with you and showing you if you want to work with us personally. But we're also going to leave you, hopefully we can leave you with a tool, a checklist, something that you can go through. And as you're working on your own, you can look over there at it. That's why we're not going to break the bank when we ask you for a price tag. We're not going to do that because we know you're hurting and you know your whole job situation. We don't know what your finances are like. I mean, I guess we could put triple and quadruple zeros behind stuff, but I don't like doing that. I like being able to go, hey, Ash, does this help you? And you go, heck yeah, like 10 times more than it cost. Then would you like some more help? And you remember, it did not break my bank, so yes. That's kind of how I like to do things. Now, could we charge a whole lot more? Yeah, that's not the point. Let's get you stabilized and situated, you being able to see these things, and then you call us back and says, okay, help me with this, that, and the third. Is that fair? Can I say that on behalf of AshRand, Ashley? Ashley sitting over there quiet, like, hey, buddy.
No, I think
like
it's good. I
5 and
was
6
thinking, because
zeros
I
behind
was letting
stuff.
you go. I think it's perfect.
I did not talk this
again,
over with my collaborator, my partner on this. She's like,
no, that is perfectly fine, because that's what you need in this moment too. Sometimes having a checklist to be able to keep you on track and hold yourself accountable to making sure that you're executing a lot and meeting those goals. That's a part of what we provide for coaching, right? It's all about staying on top of those things, and we are going to help you execute. So yes, leaving you with a tool, so that a checklist of some sort, so you can make sure you can cross your I's and dot your T's to translate into whatever space that feels great for you.
that part right now. Okay, since we've done that and talked to you about a few of these things, we hope that you're able to go, I think they might be able to help me. I think AshRand Career Solutions, get that? Solutions, right? Not career, blah, 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 and all that stuff I see. Solutions has given me enough to be able to work with. Now, if you're a DIYer, you like to do it yourself, fine. You grab it, you apply it, and then we would still like to hear from you to see how it went. But if you go, hey, not only am I a little bit DIYer or Y-ish, but I also like somebody that I can call and says, hey, tell me about this one. Can you connect this for me? And then we got you. Now that's another, obviously we got to ask, because it's our time and all that kind of stuff and our experience and all that. But if we've been able to give you enough today that you can get started, this is what we would like you to do next. Start. Don't look at it and go, okay, cool. I see, this is what they talked about here. This is exactly what I needed to do. Now, we also can help you with the resume stuff, but those GPTs can do that too. And I'm going to tell you, they do a decent job, but they don't do the job that we know. Because I can tell, here's what we're finding, is that Ash and I we were literally just looking at an article that says a certain age group, they're worried whether or not the GPT is going to determine their career path. That it's going to tell them, do that. And they're afraid. I don't want GPT to tell me what to do. Wait, what? Well, if you're not feeling that way because you're saying, look, can it get me there in 30 days or less? It can tell me whatever it wants, but you also need a little help to go, I need to implement these strategies. This is what I do all day long. I literally sit and help people implement, in certain cases, stuff that a GPT told them. I says, well, it just told you to do this. Have you done it? No, I didn't.
And you got to do it.
I didn't do it. I didn't want to, or what?
Whatever.
Wait, what? You didn't? It just told you. Well, I needed some help. I didn't think okay, that's where I come in. Right. And that's for you. That's where we'll come in.
Yes.
Right. You get two minds for the price of one. Just saying. I mean, we got to split it, but don't worry about it.
Got to split it.
If you're a DIYer, you ain't got a problem. You just go, all I needed was number 5. Fine. Go for it. Tell us how it did. So that's all we want to tell you about today, y'all. We're rooting for you out there. If you're making that DEI pivot, we've got more stuff for you, but we'll only deliver it if you see that it can be of service to you. If you take what we've given you today and you go, I can see how that helps. And if you want some more, we'll give it to you.
Yeah, we only want to be able to put out the things that you absolutely need. So
that's it. Do you need it? Not, in this case, not want. Because wants are infinite. I want that, and I want this, and I want it to be blue, and I want it to be okay. But if you can see this and say, I need that. I needed that today. I needed that today. And it only costs, that. Oh, thank y'all. How else can you help? And then we'll be there to help you. Fair enough? All right. We'll see you on the other side then.